in this video, I'm going to explain what a double top pattern is in the stock market. On my screen here is a stock chart. This is for Netflix. And each of these price bars represents one day of price activity. So a double top occurs when it's almost as if there's a ceiling on the price chart. And you can see where my mouse is. There's kind of a white line, a horizontal white line going left and right from my mouse. And you can see it's almost like, the price comes up to this point. This is the first part of the double top. It comes up to this point and reverses course and goes down. And then it comes back up almost to the same point, hits it, almost like it's hitting a ceiling, and then reverses course again. And so that's a double top. This would be considered a resistance level, which is a level where enough sellers came in to offset the upward movement in price and to force a downward movement in price. And so this is, again, the first point of the double top is where a resistance level gets established. And then the second point is where, if it ends up becoming a double top, the second point is where it bounces off that resistance level and comes back down. So that's what a double top pattern is. How can you benefit from it in the stock market? How can you profit from it? Well, there's a couple possible ways that you could approach it. A couple of ideas for how you could benefit from it. One, I'm going to move the chart here so that we can imagine that it's right before the actual double top occurs. So here, if you imagine this is the current day, imagine this is today, okay, and this is still happening right now. So the double top has not yet formed, but there's a big level of resistance right here. It's pretty pronounced, and typically it's said that the more pronounced a level of resistance, like a real peak in the prices, a real noticeable peak in the prices, might hold up better. And so you see a pretty strong peak here, and the price is approaching here. So for one, if you own the stock, you could consider selling it at this point, just to avoid being in a situation where it bounces off this resistance level and forms a double top and comes back down. And so you could kind of just lock in your profits before it gets there to avoid the price eventually going lower. If you don't own the stock and you're just looking for another way to profit, you could consider shorting the stock or buying put options with anticipation that if the stock gets to this level, that it will go down, because this is a resistance level and sellers may show up again at this same price level, just like they did last time the price got up here. And so you could basically short it or buy a put right around here, or you could set a limit order to do it maybe around here, let's say. And then if the price ends up breaking through this resistance level and going up higher, then you could set a stop loss, potentially. It's just one idea for a way to set up a trade. So that's one way you could do it. You can see here, we've already seen that this thing did end up going back down, but notice that if you look at the white line, the horizontal line, it goes to here. And so let's say that you had shorted right here, and the price, you set maybe a stop loss above this resistance level. Depending where you set it, you could have actually gotten stopped out, because the price, although it formed a double top, this is not like a super precise double top. If you stand back and look at this, if you kind of like put your head back from the screen and look at this chart, to me this is a pretty clear double top. But if you really get down to the detail of it, you can see here that this line, it's not like it bounces right off the exact price point where this occurred in the past. And as a result, using the strategy I just told you about, where you might set a stop loss above the resistance level, you might have gotten stopped out of that trade, even though the trade idea actually proved to be a good one, where the price did end up coming down from there. And so that's the challenge of trading, is you might have a good trade idea, but depending on exactly how you set up the trade, it may not end up working out. And so that's one of the challenges, of course, with trading. Nobody can predict exactly what's going to happen next. But that's a way that you could set up the trade the way I just described. Another way, some people, what they like to do is wait until there is proof that a double top was formed. And so they would wait. At this point, there's kind of like an indication, okay, the double top is formed. There's a top that's, kind of a top that's here, a top that's here. If you think of a double top as like the letter M, you're looking for a chart pattern that looks like the letter M. Here's the first leg of the M. The second leg is kind of starting to form. You can just see that peak is there. So somebody who's interested in waiting for confirmation might choose to short or buy a put right here. And they could do the same thing of setting a stop loss kind of above that resistance level. But otherwise, just trying to capture some of the movement down after they believe that this double top has been formed, after evidence of it being formed. And you can see, of course, that strategy might have paid off because the price did indeed go down. So then the question is, do double tops actually work? Like, do they actually provide a good investing opportunity for investors? Like, do they give you good odds of making a profit? And that's where we step in at Stock Market Guides. We do research, and rather than hype you up about something or just tell you a strategy without really knowing whether it works or not, what we do is we simply give you the facts. We look at each stock and we look at, well, how many times has a double top pattern formed for this stock? And when it happened, how did the stock perform thereafter? And that way you just have the facts. It's not, you don't have to feel like you're being talked into something or talked out of an investing strategy or anything else. It's just, for Netflix, as in this example, here's how many times the double top pattern has formed, and here's what happened to the stock on average thereafter. We also provide the detail. We show each instance where it happened if you want to get to that level of granularity. But the bottom line is we'll give you the information and say this is how often it's happened and how it's performed. And that way you can decide for yourself, is that an investment strategy you want to pursue for this particular stock or option at this time? And you can make an informed investing decision. If you have any questions about the double top pattern or just about the market in general, you can contact us anytime. Our email address is support@stockmarketguides.com.